Now, one of the 5 accused in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, Bongani Ntanzi, has been denied bail. While Ntanzi remains in custody, the Judicial Service Commission has recommended that Judge Chifiwa Maumela should be suspended, saying he has failed to rule on key parts of the trial. Senior reporter Silindelo Masikane following developments for us. She was in the High Court in Pretoria a little bit earlier when Mr. Ntanzi appeared there. She's going to give us an update now. Silindelo, very good afternoon. Very interestingly, as we begin talking, I just had a chat with Judge Johan Krichler, former Constitutional Court Justice, but also Chairperson of Freedom Under Law. He says this thing of suspending a judge is a long process, and he said he's expecting that Judge Maumela should continue presiding over the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. That's going to be very interesting.
Certainly so. It is going to be quite interesting to see how those processes unfold. But legal experts that we've been speaking to throughout the morning, Bradan, have really also said pretty much of the same sentiments, that at this point it's a recommendation for Judge Chifiwa Maumela to be suspended. I have had an opportunity to actually contact the presidency's spokesperson to know if they've actually received that correspondence from the JSC. And at this point, the presidency has not received that correspondence. So it's still yet to make it to the president's desk. Then he must consider it. And if he agrees with the JSC, then he'll, of course, then suspend Judge Maumela. But then at the same time, the JSC in their recommendations also states that the judges in question will be required to continue to preside over matters that are before them, that are pending, and perhaps what will happen is that they won't perhaps receive any new cases. So I think the misunderstandings that people think that the suspension has already taken place, but that hasn't happened as yet. There's just been a recommendation for the judge to be suspended, but also the likelihood is that it won't affect the trial.
Okay, let's get back now to what happened in court today in that bail application of Mr. Ntanzi, one of the 5 accused in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial.
So what we saw today was the judgment of that bail application that was made in October last year. I remember having a conversation with his former legal representative, who in February went and wrote a letter to the Office of the Chief Justice, flagging his concerns around how long it was taking for that bail judgment to be delivered. So some 7 months later or so, that judgment was then delivered by Deputy Judge President Aubrey Ledwaba, who in his judgment flagged issues with Ntanzi's application, saying that it was simply quite weak and that there were no exceptional circumstances presented for Ntanzi to be released on bail. Let's take a listen.
In this matter, the state did not place any evidence before the court either opposing the application for bail or in rebuttal of the applicant's denial of the commission of the offences with which he had been charged. Yeah, I'm quoting what has been said in this case that I'm quoting. The court went further to say it would appear that the state had adopted this line of approach on the assumption that the appellant had all to do in order to succeed with his bail with his application for bail. Now, in this case before me, having considered the evidence before me, I'm satisfied that the applicant has not discharged the onus to prove exceptional circumstances, that exceptional circumstances exist, and that it would be in the interest of justice to grant bail. Will you please stand up? The application for bail is dismissed.
Now, Silindelo, that's what happened there to Mr. Ntanzi, denied bail. As we conclude, just remind our viewers, when is this trial back on?
So, Bradan, the trial is expected to resume on the 2nd of May. We understand that just this week, on Wednesday, accused number 4 also presented new legal representation on his behalf. We understand it's the same lawyer that's going to be representing accused number 3. And you would remember that when we had postponed last year, it is because accused 1 and 2 also said that they wanted a new lawyer who needed time to familiarize themselves with court transcripts, or trial transcripts rather, and the 2 dockets. From my understanding, from speaking to those who are in the case, my understanding is that this lawyer does not need any more time to familiarize themselves with the case, and that they have indicated that they will be ready to proceed on the 2nd of May. So what we are expecting is that the state will then call a new witness, somebody else who was in the house, to take to the stand. And that's if nothing else perhaps develops between now and then.
That's on Tuesday, in the 2nd of May. We're going to wait and see what happens. Thank you very much for the update. Silindelo Masikane, our senior reporter on this matter of the Senzo Meyiwa trial. One of the accused, Bongani Ntanzi, denied bail in court today.